Hi, my name is Father Mike Schmitz, and this is Ascension Presents. It is also Holy Week. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where there's someone who's in trouble, there's someone who's in distress, there's someone who they're in the midst of it, right? They're in the middle of it, and you realize, I can't fix it. Like you realize that honestly, no matter what I do, I can't fix this. I can talk, I can try to find solutions, I can try to offer help, but in some ways, like, no, I know the truth is I can't fix this. What do you do? And I've been praying about this and reflecting on this because of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, especially as we lead into the Triduum, like this Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then Easter Sunday. We recognize that here's Jesus. As he leaves the Passover meal, right? As he leaves the Last Supper and goes across the Kidron Valley and goes into the Garden of Gethsemane, he's in trouble. Right? He is distressed. He is in a place of suffering. What were the disciples asked to do? Because here's Jesus. He's in the garden. He is voluntarily submitting himself, surrendering himself to the Father and to whatever the Romans dish out. And what does he ask his disciples to do? You know, it's fascinating. He doesn't ask them to fix it. He doesn't ask them, hey, take me away from this. He doesn't ask them, let's run off into the woods. Let's run off into the hills. Let's get out of town. He doesn't ask them to do it for him. He doesn't ask them to, hey, give me a pump-up speech. What does he ask them to do? He says, stay with me. He says, watch and pray with me. You know, I think for those of us who are kind of like, solution-minded, those of us who like to use words, those of us who let me fix the problem. This can be the hardest thing to do. It's easy to talk. It's easy to try to fix. It's easy to try to offer solutions. And Jesus doesn't ask for a solution. He doesn't ask for a speech. He just asks them to stay. So here's the question. Where is Jesus inviting you and me to stay right now? Where is he inviting us to stay with him? And what we get to do as we enter into the Triduum is we get to choose spots to stay with him. So maybe it's the Last Supper. I get to stay with him as he's humbling himself and washing the feet of the disciples. I can stay with him as he's giving us the Eucharist. Maybe it's in the Garden of Gethsemane, right there. Where he just says, hey, watch and pray with me. Stay with me in this moment where I imagine so much loneliness. You know, there's also a moment where Jesus is arrested. He's brought to Caiaphas' house. Part of our tradition is that he's put in basically into Caiaphas' cellar, right? In the dungeon in Caiaphas' basement. He's all alone. Maybe it's to stay with him there. Maybe it's to walk with him to Pilate's or over to Herod's and back to Pilate's. Maybe it's the way of the cross. Maybe it's on the crucifix. Wherever it is, the invitation, I think this weekend is to just stay with him. Which is what we're called to do in so many ways with our brothers and sisters, right? I don't know if you know the story of the book of Job. In the book of Job, devastation, catastrophe befalls him. And a couple of his friends, when they hear about it, they do the exact right thing. They see him, and he's so broken. He's so actually just disfigured that they rend their garments and they weep. But then they just sit with him. Then they just stay. I think it's fascinating that it isn't until they start to give their speeches, it isn't until they try to give him solutions, it isn't until they try to fix things that everything's ruined. But when they just sit there, when they just stay, he knows there's someone there with him. Is there someone in your life where they don't need your strength, and they don't need your solutions, and they don't need your speech? They just need you to stay with them. Is there someone, namely the Lord Jesus, who this weekend is inviting you to join him at the Last Supper, to join him in the Kidron Valley, to join him in the Garden of Gethsemane, to join him in Caiaphas' basement, to join him on the way of the cross, to join him at the cross, to join him in the tomb? And there he doesn't need your strength. And he doesn't need your solutions. And he doesn't need your speech. He just needs you to stay. Pick a spot and do what Jesus asks. Watch and pray and stay. For all this here to Ascension presents, My name is Father Mike. God bless.